Hi, it's Nell, and today I'm going to be talking about Hens and Chicks, which is a succulent. It's a common succulent, but the one that I'm talking about today in particular is the Echeveria X imbricata. This plant in particular spreads like crazy. It spreads to at least 2 feet. And there's a beautiful picture of a Hens and Chicks patch, which I took these plants from up in the Bay Area. It's going to be on the blog post, so you can just go to the link below and see how they look when they're growing in all their splendor. They are normally a gray-green, and this one will turn gray-green once it gets planted. It won't be so pale, and then it gets edged in a pink, so it's beautiful. It's a very, very tough plant, and as I said, it's a common plant. Here's how the plants look growing in the garden. These are growing in quite a bit of shade actually, but they still look fine. And as you can see, it's much more of a gray-green. Now this is a succulent that takes full sun or part shade. It just does fine in part shade. Where the mother plant of this plant is up in Pacifica, just south of San Francisco. It gets a lot of fog. It's fine in bright light. And like most of these fleshy succulents, it'll actually burn if the sun is too hot and too strong. And in terms of watering, it has low water requirements, about every 2 weeks or 3 weeks outdoors. In the winter, they get their natural rains here, although we haven't had that many. I've had to supplement a little bit on the water. And this one is hardy to about 20 degrees. Now there is a sempervivum that's referred to as Hens and Chicks, and that one is hardy to about, I think, minus 10 or minus 20 degrees, so that is the one that is really cold hardy. This one will spread to probably about 2 feet, and it gets very, very dense. It spreads very densely, and it'll get maybe a foot tall as it mounds. It's great in containers, and like all succulents, it needs good drainage, so make sure that your garden has good drainage, or that you are using a potting soil that has good drainage, such as a succulent and a cactus mix. And this one flowers. It gets a lovely flower that goes up on a stalk and kind of curves over, and it's sort of a pinkish red with some yellow variegation to it. Very pretty. The other thing I wanted to tell you why I'm doing this video too is because I will plant these and they will look good in no time. I had a couple jade cuttings and they were like almost dead, burned. I planted them and now they're all green and gorgeous. So when you think sometimes that succulents are bye-bye, they're actually just fine. And it grows, it gets a lot of leaves. Dead leaves on the bottom just because it grows so tight, so I just take those off. And how I propagated this one, I took it from my client's Hens and Chick patch. I just had a very sharpened knife. Make sure your knife or your pruners are clean, and I just went, I made a clean cut on an angle, and now there are a few little roots growing out here, so it is time to plant these. Like most succulents, you can also propagate this one by leaf cutting. You just take a leaf off like this, and you let it heal over, and you might see roots start to appear, and you might not, but after like a month, you can certainly plant it, and it will grow from there. Of course, it takes a lot longer to grow this way. Here are a few of those roots right there, and as you can see, they're not very big, and there aren't that many of them, but don't be concerned. And you can plant it, and after you plant it, the roots will come. Hens and Chicks actually make a great house plant. This one in particular, the Echeveria genus. It can take the dry air. It grows a little slower indoors, of course, but that's not an issue. But it looks nice, in my opinion, in a low bowl, a low dish, or something like a bonsai dish, because it doesn't get very tall. And you give it as much light as you can, nice and bright, and then you would water it every 3 weeks at the most. You don't want to overwater it because it stores water in the leaves and in the stems here. And just make sure that the soil or the mix drains through really well. So the best thing to do would be to take it to the sink, wash it through, let all the water drain out the bottom, and then when it's through draining, just take it back and put it in its nice bright spot. So I hope you've enjoyed this video about the Echeveria known as Hens and Chicks. I hope it has been useful to you. And be sure to subscribe because we have a lot more videos coming your way. I thank you so much for watching. And now it's time to get out in the garden and make the world a more beautiful place. Bye!